Well, the reason there's no money for construction, the state has to determine how much it's going to cost. So that's why you have to have the design.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking we're probably still looking at least another 3 or 4 years till we actually see something progressed over there. The Dunn extension, we're going to need all those other roads, which the Dunn is a county road as well. I know probably, I think it was actually the last commission meeting. They just funded for the design and engineering of the Dunn extension
Mhm.
with at the county level. And I know the city, state, and county are trying to work together. I know the city, we passed a project a while back called the INA,
Mhm.
and it was allowed up to, I think, the development of 1,834 homes, which the density was lowered to 344, and they were going to pay up to the right of way. So we're all working together to try to get all this infrastructure. Another thing that's really a problem out in the LPGA area is phone cell connection.
Mhm.
And I have been working very hard to get this cell tower, which it's in the works. Right now, it's going to be at the fire station off the LPGA, and we're waiting for FAA clearance right now. But there is talk. So I know my residents are going to be happy. There's talk about having another one
Mhm.
over there, over by the utility department over there.
Interesting. That is interesting. So let's switch gears. Those are some of the concerns,
Yes.
but on the positive side, what has made you kind of happy, glad that you are the commissioner of Zone 4?
First of all, I love working and trying to get things accomplished with the residents. Sidewalks.
Okay.
I am a big, call me the sidewalk commissioner. My first month in, I actually campaigned. I don't know if you remember over there off Klein Morris between Pine Lakes and Big Tree
Okay.
over decades because I used to own a house over there, and my kids, like I said, are in their 30s. That sidewalk has been missing forever.
Mm.
Well, I campaigned on it thinking it was a Daytona and it was actually county.
Okay.
But I was able to accomplish to get that done within a month.
Mm.
And you see our bike path that's going
Mhm.
on that we'll work in the city with
Yeah.
DOT. Um, Sidewalk over there from Bayberry to Publix. Um, they
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's Wednesday, September 18th, the Economic Development Advisory Board meeting. May I have a roll call
Absolutely. Ms. Carol Killian,
here?
Mr. Christos Mavronis, Mr. Harry Lloyd.
Here.
Excuse me, Mr. Bob Rand, Mr. Derek Harris,
Here.
Ms. Nancy Kiefer. Here. Commissioner Ruth Yeager, Mr. Chris Bowler, Mr. Lou Paris,
Here?
Mr. Taiwan Harrington.
Here.
Thank you. And we have Mr. Brown. May I call for approval of the minutes of August 21st?
So move.
Yeah, so moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, now we can get to our reports. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Come on.
Okay, two things. We have on October 2nd, we have at the Deltona Center an event. It's the Volusia Business Resources funding event, and it's open to the public. It's free. We're actively right now recruiting attendees for the event. The nature of the event is to increase the funding outcomes for businesses and aspiring entrepreneurs in the community. And so we have lined up speakers from every single possible funding, what do I call it, opportunity. Bankers, we have experts in crowdfunding, we have experts in grant writing. So all these folks will be presenting, helping the audience understand the ways they can optimize their lending outcomes. And this is also will serve as the launch of a new platform called the Funding Readiness Center. Again, it's a platform that is available at no cost to the entire community. It's live. It's available already right now. I will share with all of you. I'll send an email with the invitation and the flyer, so you can help us kind of convey that to our respective audiences. The other update that I'll offer is that yesterday, Brad Harris from my office and I went to view an event that was put together by the UCF Business Incubation Program that took place in Eustis. And the idea here was to evaluate this program for our county to see if this is something we want to implement. It's basically a way to open up the incubator here to a broader audience in Volusia County. So to have include lifestyle kinds of businesses and non-tech kinds of businesses, and to see how they're doing it, and to see if this is something we want to replicate. So we're actively evaluating that right now, and we have reason to believe this is something that would be very beneficial for this area. And we say that because the ecosystem here has evolved, meaning that when the incubator started, there were, we didn't have a Microplex, and now we do. And the Microplex is really good at incubating technological companies. And it's kind of making us think that there's an opportunity here to serve those businesses that are not necessarily technological or with nationwide or international wide reach, but worth giving a hand to increase the overall economic well-being of the area. So those are my two updates for economic development.
What was the date of that first event?
Yes, it's October 2nd.
October 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Where again?
The center at the Deltona.
Okay.
Beautiful center. I don't know if you've been there. It's phenomenal.
I haven't seen it.
It's amazing. Yes, very modern, very clean, very beautiful.
Great. Well, thank you very much. You're not Keith Norton. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Team Volusia was in attendance of the International Manufacturing Technology Show in Chicago, the IMTS. This show was actually a very good show because we actually have two companies that will be attending the FabTech Expo in Orlando, but they're going to do a site visit over to Volusia during that time. Keith is currently at the Industrial Asset Management Council, IMAC, in Quebec, Canada, where he's meeting with site consultants. And at that event, we are currently finalizing for September 25th through the 26th. We have 10 to 15 companies from Sydney, Australia area. And they're in defense, and they'll be attending the area. We partner with Space Florida and Orlando Economic Partnership, OEP, to make that happen. And we are looking forward to Project Lautrec. They'll be visiting with us on tomorrow.
Wow, that's awesome.
Terrific. That's it? You're
That's it for
done?
now.
Oh, my God, but y'all do so much, I tell you what.
Yes.
Y'all have been kind of busy.
Quite. Thank you.
A little bit, okay. Ms. Kiefer?
Thank you very much. Again, I'm always busy at the Chamber with a lot of activities. And we do have our next program, Tapping Into Issues, which is a program on how state issues impact local business. That'll be coming up on September 26th at 3 p.m. Our Hobnob this year is scheduled for October 3rd. Obviously, that's a great time to come out and look at all candidates running for races. And just a side note on that, our voters guide has been updated for the general election, and that's available online for anyone that wants to read about the stances that all candidates who completed the questionnaire for the business community responded to. And it's a real easy read. You can just tap into any of them.
It's a really good one.
Thank
mean,
you.
It's very informative.
Thank you. So that's available for everybody to get off from the Chamber's website. Our awards lunch is coming up on October 29th. It's a great time to celebrate all that's right in our community. Our Small Business of the Year award is going to Fast Signs of Daytona Beach. The Nonprofit of the Year award is going to Volusia Recovery Alliance. The Young Professional of the Year is going to Devin Miller with Brown & Brown. And our Leadership Award is going to Chris Bowler. I wish he was here to be recognized today.
All right.
So we're excited to recognize the individuals and companies that are really paying it forward in our community. I think also everybody's aware that the mayor of Daytona Beach Shores, Nancy Miller, is chairing the League of Mayors for the state, which is a really good honor. She's also hosting them here on September 25th. I'll be there, and they'll be participating in a roundtable program on best practices for recruitment and retention. And then another event that's coming up is a workshop on building inclusive workspaces. So we're excited about that. That'll be October 24th at 8 a.m. And then we are excited that we'll be getting a presentation on our Leadership Daytona class project on September 27th. And the project, as I think I mentioned at the last meeting, is taking a look at all the studies and everything that's been done for Beachside and looking at case studies from across the United States and giving us a presentation on, are there trends, are there things that are going on in other communities that we could take a look at. So they are working so hard on this. And again, when we get the presentation, we'll do a road show with just important groups like this and others that I think will benefit from the information they've compiled.
All right, sure. Can we back up just a second?
Sure.
Give me that Nancy Miller, a little more information on that? I
So
don't
she's hosting all the mayors from across Florida here, actually in Daytona Beach. They'll be at the Speedway using some of the properties over at One Daytona for the conference. It is an invitation event. Each mayor is allowed to bring a business representative or two. I don't know how much of it's open to the public or how many, if cities and economic development partners are a part of it, but I can find out more on that.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right. Thank you. Any questions? We have no old business unless you have something, Mr. Brown.
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. New business, the consideration of the city guidelines on economic development incentive grant program.
So, Mr. Chairman, the city has had an economic development incentive grant program that was modeled after a Florida statute program. It has not been updated for some time. So we began looking at this over the summer here about upgrading and rewriting some of the grant program. A lot of the information that you see in here is carried over from the old program. but it's just written now as to how we offer economic incentives here in the city, which is a percentage back annually based upon performance on a percentage of your ad valorem taxes will be given back to you, and it's graduated over a number of years. So the most important things to look at here is who's eligible for this. So if under new businesses, if we have a new business that's starting with at least 10 jobs, full-time employees, which manufacture, compound, fabricate, produce. So that's all of our manufacturing components, if you will, that are consistent with those businesses that are defined in either the state of Florida under the Department of Commerce. They have a list of targeted businesses, or in the economic element of the city's comprehensive plan, which we worked on, if you remember, about a year and a half ago now, in which time we also targeted some additional businesses that are outside of what the state has listed as well. So if you meet one of those two criteria in your manufacturer, this program becomes available to you. And just as a side note, Project Law Track, excuse me, met not only the states, but I believe ours as well, under the aviation standard. So that's how we were able to present that economic incentive grant proposal to you all last month. The other then is, gets into a business that gets into 25 or more full-time employees and has a sales factor consistent with state statute, which means that at least 50% of the sales has to equal the amount of the incentive grant given. And and I've actually got it in my office, an equation that you just fill in the blank and it kicks out that number of what the economic incentive grant would look like. The other thing is we then looked at office spaces that are used by a corporation, must have at least 50 full-time employees, that is separate from a commercial or industrial operation owned by the same business. Then we go into the existing businesses. So this is not
okay,
just a new business.
Are you suggesting that this is the old, or did you already change some of this?
No, this we brought over from, the thing that I cleared up was some language up in, under paragraph 1, or number 1, the second paragraph where it talks about targeted industries, businesses as defined by the state of Florida. That actually had a reference to the old Qualified Target Industries program at the state of Florida, which was repealed by the legislature, probably 6-7 years ago, I want to say, if not longer. Tuan don't know. So,
No.
So however, it was before Tuan got here.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
and so the state got, and that was a program that the state had that, again, kind of like what they have now, where there were qualified industries that they were trying to target at the state of Florida. I know defense at one time was a big one in there because I know we had one in Panama City. When I was there, that we had one of those industries come to town, and it was a 10-year program, if memory serves me correctly, that we, as a city, had to contribute to that program with them. So that was some of the language there that was changed. However, anything as far as the minimum criteria, up in the first paragraph of 1, paragraph 2, we did not touch because that actually comes out of that state statute, chapter 220. And the third we did not touch as well.
Okay.
And anything under the existing businesses, we did not touch as well.
Okay.
Okay. So that's been in existence for a couple of decades here with us. The other thing too, that it's, and part of the reason why I wanted to upgrade this is so we want to add, broadcast this a little bit better on the website, that this is available. So, you know, when we start to talk about some of our brownfield projects, there is a potential that they could also qualify under this program as well. Because if you look under an existing business the second paragraph at the top of page 3, if you're doing locating in a brownfield and increases the operations in that site, then there's a potential also for this program to be available for you. The procedure is it has been modified a little bit because we talk about, and we're actually going to have to modify this language here a little bit more now that I see it, because it talks about a written grant application must be submitted. We will actually next month have it available on our website, an electronic version. The city has made a very conscious effort here in the last at least 2 years that I've been here, that a lot of our applications are going online. So that way it cuts down on the amount of paperwork that we're actually handling. It makes it easier to distribute within the organization as well in some cases. So just as we did with Bike Week and put that application electronically, this application will also be going live online as well. And I was telling Mr. Lloyd, he had asked me to see a copy of it. I actually have a conference call with our IT staff on Friday to just go over it one last time to make sure we've got all of it working correctly. It is based upon the application that you would submit if you went through the state program to work with the state. And actually, what we've done is made it available so that if you are applying through the state, such as what Project Law Track did, we accepted their application in lieu of ours, because we want to make it easier for the customer that's coming in to not have to fill out an application for the state and then fill out an application for us.
To the city.
And we've actually got it on that application that if you have an application with the state, the only thing you need to do for us is fill out the testament page, just as what you did with the state, and then submit that documentation, attach the document that you submitted to the state to our application, and then we'll use it as one application and make it easier and streamline it for the customers coming in. I was also telling Mr. Lloyd we may be looking to make a light version of that. If we need to figure out a number so that if you're a smaller business, we're not putting you through all the questions that you have to answer for the big corporations. Because a lot of that information they have readily. A smaller business may not know all of that information or have it as readily available. So we will be looking at making it easier for the smaller businesses to fill out the application online as well.
Especially if they're like a new startup or something. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, okay.
But even with a new startup, remember, the minimum threshold we're looking at here is 10 jobs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you're a startup and you have 2 people working for you, working in the company,
Then you don't, okay,
you don't qualify.
yeah, okay.
And so that talks about how we'll go through it. It then also talks about how once they get the grant, the information that they have to supply back to us and what those dates are. So they have to submit it to us no later than April 1st. So if we'd given a grant for 2024, you must have your taxes paid, excuse me again, and all the information provided to us by April 1st of 2025.
Okay.
All right. So that way, and the reason why we picked that date is that gives you enough time to, if you don't pay earlier on your tax bill and you pay it later,
Oh,
that's why we do that. Plus, even if you do get it and you get your tax bill and you pay it November 30th, you still have reporting requirements from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. So you got to show all of that information as well.
all right.
So that's why we picked April 1st. So that way it gives everybody the time that pays late or later to also compile all that information and get it to us. Then we get to the grant schedule. And here we did not address anything else. However, we are in some discussions at a staff level about making an adjustment here. So if the average minimum wage is equal to 200% of the AMI, which is, I think, about 46, so it'd be $92,000. Your grant schedule would look that you'd get 100% of the taxes through years 1 and 2. And I don't know why that did that, but 75% then would be for years 3 and 4, and then 50% a grant for year 5. If you're less than 200 but greater than 150, you then see you get 100 for the first year, 75% for years 2 and 3, and 50% for years 4 and 5. And then likewise, you see the 150 to 115, what it looks like there. The thing that we're looking at is making some adjustment to number 2. It states there that we're generally not looking for jobs that are below 115% of AMI. The thought process there being that we're trying to create good quality, high-paying jobs for the community. This part here where it talks about the 85% of AMI and 50 jobs and $15 million of capital investment. The thought is we may be looking to move that to the 85 to 100% of AMI. So even if you don't, even though you're not at 115%, you are creating a facility that's at least $15 million. And you also get a shorter incentive grant time period on that as well. If you flip it over to page 5, if you're between 15 and 10 million, then it would be that. But again, we would also, staff is discussing being at least 100% of AMI. Then the other, next is the additional year of grants, grant for certain projects, is that an additional 75% year will be added if the capital investment is at least 25 million, and the number of new or full-time jobs by the business or expansion equals 200 or more. We'll give you an additional 75-year boost there. And if it's 50% and 50% grant, if you're between 25 and 20 million, but you're less than 200 but more than 100.
So are all these the same, or did you change? You changed all of these?
No, these all rolled over.
They're all, okay.
Like I said, the only thing we're really considering, and I think we're probably going to do it, is we're going to up the 85 to 100% of AMI.
These are fairly substantial business operations.
Correct.
When you're talking about $25 million capital, and,
Yeah.
you know, this type of thing, these are big companies. And my question, this program's been in place for a while.
Correct.
Correct. Do you have a feel for how it's done, how successful it's been in bringing or helping these companies?
Not really, because we haven't really used it that much in the past. It really hasn't been advertised that well, and it has not been really utilized as much as maybe what it could have been.
Yeah, so it's been sitting out there underutilized.
Yes, sir.
And so part of this program is to market it? Okay. Because
Yes.
I think if you're giving away taxpayer money, you know, it ought to try to trigger and do some good.
Correct.
But these are really big companies, and of course we all know that most companies are mom and pop operations. So it's be nice for the city to kind of create something for them, you know?
Well, and if you remember, so we're looking at 10 jobs.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes in and moves a smaller business that employs 10 people at a minimum, we can make this available to them as well.
But like a heating and contracting company or a small plumbing company that has 2 or 3 employees, or something, are there programs for them in the city?
Not of this nature.
Okay.
And for some of those smaller type businesses, what I've been encouraging them to do is look towards the CRA areas, because there is some grant money available
Okay.
to those kinds of businesses in those areas. And so that makes it an easier kind of process for them to go through to get that money.
Yeah. I mean, Daytona is a pro-business city, as I see it, and it's nice to encourage all businesses. The $25 million businesses are great, you know, and they do support a large number, but most of America runs on the little businesses.
Well, it seems to me, I mean, I've never seen this document before, and I've been here for a long time. But it seems like we do more of a one-on-one. Once a company comes here, then we kind of evaluate it on a single basis and maybe follow some of this, but.
Yeah, so it's been, I'll say a little bit nebulous.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's also part of the reason why I wanted to get this program
Yeah.
kind of tied down and with some reaffirmation by the city commission
Okay.
and this board as well,
Okay.
that here's what the program is and here's what we're.
And like you said, let's get it out.
Energize.
Correct.
Yeah. So more people can maybe take advantage of it, that rather than our waiting for somebody to come here and then we say, oh, okay, we can apply
Right.
Correct.
X, Y, Z. Okay.
Perhaps we could work through the chamber, too, when if you have somebody come in and chat with your folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have this on your menu.
Yeah, and I would suggest Team Volusia, you know,
did
being the
it- we did it as
recruitment arm,
well.
they know that these tools are in place, and when a business is looking specifically at Daytona Beach, they do know this
Yes.
tool is
Yeah.
there, so.
Okay, great.
But yeah, we're happy to help. I'm kind of in the same vein with you, Harry, about small businesses, and I think there are a lot of grants out there, even if they're like facade grants or aesthetic grants, that nobody knows about.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're only in the CRA, but I was just thinking it might be an opportunity for us to do kind of a one-pager on everything that's out there for small business.
Yeah.
You know, and because we've got great professionals recruiting the big business with the support of the county and chambers and all of that. So I just thought we may want to look at something, and we'd be happy to help with that.
Yeah, the small businesses fail at a great percentage, as we all
Right,
know.
right.
And sometimes perhaps a tax break on their overhead would make the difference of letting them get over a hurdle and establish themselves.
The question I had was that not-for-profit businesses, they're totally excluded from this program.
Yes.
And let me explain why. A lot of times people, they miss out, me being a pastor, not realizing that the largest African-American business is the Black church. People don't think of it like that, but there are multiple streams of jobs and income that go through the Black church, where many of us employ quite a number of individuals, pay salaries. We also have marketers to come in. We bring in conventions. We have a huge convention next week coming in that's going to leave a substantial amount of money in several locations. And I think that we should try to really look at this, creating some type of program to really encourage. Right now, we have several deals with many of the hotels on A1A, the AME convention. I'm the ecumenical speaker on Wednesday for that, where they're bringing in over 1,000 individuals, the bishops and all of them. They're coming in. When they leave, they're going to probably leave over $1 million. Same time, next week, my church is hosting the statewide Church of God in Christ Women's Convention, where hundreds and hundreds of people are coming from all over the state and the country. And we need to be able to have some type of incentive programs, maybe looking at some of these non-for-profit that are actually employing people on a full-time basis and bringing in more jobs, also creating other vehicles of them being able to go from one level to another. Last point was this, was that what I've done, I have a consulting a business as well too, where I have many individuals that have come out of the system where they used to market on the street. For some of you all may know what I'm trying to say. But what has happened is that many times they just didn't have direction. They were very, they knew exactly, they had influence. They knew how to market. They knew how to delegate. They just didn't have the right person to direct them. And so now what we've been doing is that we've literally been getting them going back to school, teaching them what to do, using their skills and their influence. And so I just really wish that we could possibly look at this, that we could maybe develop some type of incentive for many of these non-for-profit organizations in our city.
Good points.
We can look at that.
Okay.
See if we can figure out a way. Remember, this is based upon, the economic grant is based upon the amount of ad valorem taxes that are paid.
Right.
A nonprofit does not pay ad valorem taxes.
In some cases, they don't. In some cases, they do. They're just like my church. We have certain properties that actually pay property tax that's owned by the church through other entities that we have businesses going through.
Oh, okay.
Right. So what I'm saying is that there are areas in many churches throughout, people may not realize it, in a 10-mile radius, there are 260 churches. In just a 10-mile radius, 260. Yes. So with that many places of congregations and different things like that, this is the major source of having some type of business influence in the area. So just wants to look at that.
Okay. We can do that. The last section we get into is, of course, that the city commission ultimately has the decision-making authority on this program. And in some cases may adjust or increase depending upon how they, how it suits the city's best interest. And it also, the key thing I need to point out at the top of this, actually going back to the front and what Pastor was just talking about here. So the city notes that ad valorem taxes are already specifically addressed for designated community redevelopment areas. In general, therefore, properties within the CRAs are not eligible also under this program as well. And it's, the reason being is that if we have property in a CRA and we are giving them an economic incentive, that really defeats the purpose of having the CRA. Because that is what you design a CRA for, is you've established an area that has slum or blight, and the ad valorem taxes and the increase in the ad valorem tax collected within that area are to go back into that area. So if we're going into an area and locating a big business that meets these criteria, that's going to be a lot of money for that CRA. And in particular, now when we really look at it, the CRAs are on a 12-year, less than 12 years they'll be in place. So it's 2036, I believe, that they will vanish, and they will go back to just being a normal piece of property, and the CRA will not be in that area anymore. So their lifespan is getting shorter, and that we'll really be taking money out of that pot of money to make improvements within those districts. So that's why that language is also included in here, and that was not changed. That was also in the original document as well. So I just, you can take it and digest it, and if you want to get back with comments, and ones that were noted here, we'll make a note of those. We are looking, and we have had it in our mind to be thinking about looking for the smaller type businesses. The county has just recently, I say recently, within the last 2 years, begun a program for a jobs creation wanted to get some time with them to see how that program's working. So I'll be talking with Lou, and maybe that may be something we may be bringing back over and making that available for the smaller businesses that can't meet this, but can, but could qualify under their program or a program like that.
Good. Good. I think that's important.
So would you work with them and then go and develop another
Yes,
thing like this for the smaller?
correct.
Right. Okay. So what do you want us to do?
Take this, think about it.
Okay,
Next month, like I said, we'll bring a hard copy, or I'll
Okay.
be able to get IT I'll get the guys in the back there to bring up the actual application. We can walk through it and see what it is that we're asking for from some of these bigger corporations that would be applying under this program.
but with the changes you've made, you're pretty happy with this
Yes.
document right now? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Any questions, comment? That's a lot to digest here.
Yeah,
I
it
am not
is.
I'm not a numbers person, so I don't know much about all this. I'll have to just read through it, so, thank you.
Yes.
Any comments?
Has anyone ever used this yet?
Yes.
Name, couple of,
Encompass Health, which is located at, or will be located at Strickland Range Road and Williamson.
okay,
Was a $40 million capital investment, 100 employees. It's a physical rehab, inpatient, outpatient facility.
okay,
They've utilized it. I believe Amazon used a variant of this under their, when they came to town, I believe this was also used for it.
okay,
If we get Project Law Track to locate here and Space Florida does not fund their project, and they go to the open market, which then makes that project then have to pay ad valorem taxes, then they would use this as well.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments on that?
Can we circle back a little minute to the TRT and just look at
Sure thing.
that? And I did notice the occupancy report, again, seems to be a little less active than it last year.
Yes.
But just noting that Sears redevelopment plan at the mall, do you know what you're thinking about doing?
I'm going to have to get it because I know that's changed a couple of times since we've had our
Again,
conversation.
These are employment opportunities, that's why I'm,
Because I know at one time they were actually talking about making those apartments.
Right,
at one
Yeah, I
time, you had the
thought-
Macy's
Yeah.
building apartments.
The Macy's side was
Yeah.
supposed to be that. Is
Yeah.
that still up in the air or going or dead or what?
Macy's, I've had one conversation with them. I've not heard anything back because they were looking for
Okay,
some economic development relief. And I haven't heard they asked a question, would the city be interested in helping them out with something? I was asking them to provide me the numbers, and that was probably about 2 months ago, and I've not heard anything back from them.
okay,
Ms. Killian, I know you asked me for population updates. I was
Yeah.
checking with the Bureau of Economic and Business Research at the University of Florida. They've not produced their 2024 numbers,
okay,
or at least it's not up yet on the website.
okay, thank you.
and I see over here on the northwest corner of Shady Place and FEC Railroad, they're rezoning to construct a metal building. I noticed, I was riding by on yesterday, even a portion of the golf course, the fencing have been taken down. Do you know what's going on over there?
The fencing for the golf course?
Yeah, the Shady Place area, that has even been pushed over. I was just trying to see, is that connected to this, or
I don't believe so. I believe we were replacing the fence at the golf course,
that's what you're doing? Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
I'll have to-
Which golf course is this? Where is this?
Over at Shady Place in
The city.
Bethel.
Right, the city.
At the city golf
golf
course.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I couldn't remember where Shady Place was.
But as far as that zoning, they're trying to change,
And the railroad,
I know the
yeah.
facility, they're trying to change use right here for the metal building.
Let me make sure I got the
That-
right one. I know that
Construction
one,
of a metal building, it's the second bullet point. construction of a metal building for Marine Custom Solutions.
Is that the one where they're bringing it from Eustis?
No. This is the one, they already have.
No, okay, now I know which one you're talking about. Or at least I remember the site now. I don't know, I'll follow up with you and let you know what that is that's going on out there.
Yeah, because I saw, because it's literally right across from our church, but they have this huge tents that are going up and that have already gone up. I mean, almost 2-story tents all the way down. I was like, wow. Yeah, you could just see big, giant canopies. And I guess now they're trying to construct something. I know they're real particular as to what we put in this neighborhood, so.
I'll follow up with planning and get back and send you an email out. I was just told, hold on, I may have a number for you, Ms. Killian.
All right. Anything else? Do we have public comment anywhere? Would you like to come up and make a comment? Would you like to come up and make a comment?
No, I just wanted to find out a little bit more information. I know I'm on the Leadership Daytona leadership class that's currently in place, and we were very curious as to what the advisory board is actually working on and what you guys are actually evaluating, so that way we can be aware of some of the things that are being brought forward in our presentation, so that we can have that great information.
Can you get that at all? I'm sorry, can you?
If she's going to make a comment, she has to fill out the form and
Oh, okay.
state her name.
Well, then we're okay.
Okay.
We're okay. I don't want to complicate things, so, but thank you for coming today, and I think there's more information on this city website about each of the advisory boards. So, anything else?
Yes, so the preliminary population estimate, April 1st of 2024 was 84,862.
We're going to hit 90 real soon.
And that's just for Daytona?
That is strictly Daytona Beach, city limits,
Wow.
less inmates.
And I don't mean to prolong the time, but has it gone up, down? Where were we?
Oh, it's
going?
been,
It's really
it's
going up.
gone significantly. Yeah, I think
60
our
that was
2020 number, 2020 was, the census population on April 1st, 2020, it was 71,488.
Okay.
So in 4 years, it's 13,403.
Grown considerably in 4 years, yeah.
Yep.
Right, okay, thank you all. Go around the table, anything else? Mr. Lloyd,
No, ma'am?
do you need anything?
Yes, once again, I just want to let you all know that on October the 7th, we are going to be having, once again, the Operation Safe Surrender. And it's going to be located right there at Masters Domain Church of God in Christ. And all of the agencies are going to be involved. We call it Get Right Monday. And and so they're going to be there, the state attorney's office, county clerk, circuit court judge, public defender's office. What it is that individuals that need to get their license straight, individuals that are facing writs, even child support, working out things to make sure that they're not hiding from the police or different things like that. And so it's a great program that has been going on for a couple of years, and we've been able to host it. And so we have so many agencies that have gotten on board to really help individuals to turn their life around and to get back into the business community, to go and do so many things. So it's going to be from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the evening. We're definitely not trying to trap people, get them to come and then arrest them or anything like that. But it's a really good thing where we bring all of the families. They able to come with their people that are facing things, to come right in the sanctuary, counselors to talk with them. And they literally can ask, do they want to go ahead and get things straightened out? If not, they could go ahead and leave. And it's been a great program, and so many people have been able to turn their lives around. So just wanted to let you all know about
And
that.
the date again? What-
That is on October the 7th. That's a Monday. I hope I'm saying this right. And it is, because I have so many things that's on the calendar. Okay, yes, October the 7th, yes, Monday. And it is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on that Monday. And I'll make sure we get fly out to you all as well, too.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Mr., no, nothing right now? All right. Anything comments from Eric? Okay, can I call, oh, you were done. Okay, call for an adjournment. Second. Thank you all for coming today. We appreciate it.
Oh, my
We're done.
goodness.